Welcome to The Explainer. Today, we're tackling something huge. It's one of the toughest, most important financial hurdles you will ever face. Getting to that first $100,000. Make no mistake, it's a fight. And today, we're giving you the battle plan.
Okay, let's just start with this. This is the brutal truth. Because if you don't get why this is so hard, you've got no shot at conquering it. And trust me, this isn't just some fluffy motivational quote. It's basically a law of nature when it comes to building wealth. So why? Why is it such a grind? Look, it's easy to blame the world, or your boss, or whatever. And yeah, those things don't always help. But the real reason? It's much, much deeper. It all comes down to the weapons you're bringing to the fight. All right, let's get into it. This first section is all about what we're calling the $100,000 wall. And that's exactly what it feels like. It's this massive wall you have to scale inch by inch before you can even think about hitting your stride. So here's the deal. The reason it's so hard is that at the start, you're basically in a fistfight. You're using your own sweat, your own time. And let's be real, that stuff is finite. You get tired, you need to sleep. But the wealthy, they're not fighting with their fists. They're fighting with capital. And capital, well, that's like an army of robots that works 24/7 and never, ever complains.
This quote just nails it, doesn't it? If hard work alone made you rich, coal miners would be the wealthiest people on Earth. Your paycheck, your salary, that keeps the lights on. It pays the rent, but it's not going to make you wealthy. Only capital, money that goes out and makes more money, can do that.
All right, so now we know what we're up against. Let's talk about the actual battle. Because getting from zero is a war. It really is. You're fighting against these invisible forces that are all trying to do one thing: keep you stuck right at zero.
And here they are. These are your enemies. And what's wild is that the biggest threats, they're not the stock market or the economy. Nope, they're all in your head. It's our own bad habits, our own psychological tripwires that get us every single time.
Okay, let's play this out. Picture this. You grind it out all year, you do great work, and boom, you get a raise. An extra $5,000 a year. Not bad, right? You feel good. You've earned it.
But what's the very first thought that pops into most people's heads? Ooh, new car. Maybe I can get that bigger apartment now. And that right there, that's lifestyle inflation. It is the silent killer of your financial future.
People call it treating themselves, but really, it's like shooting yourself in the foot. This one habit is exactly why you see people making six figures who are still broke. They just keep upgrading their hamster wheel instead of getting off of it.
And that leaves us to another huge enemy, the psychology of just tiny returns. I mean, think about it. You pinch pennies all year, you sacrifice, you manage to stash away $6,000. And your return on that is $600? Seriously? It feels like a joke. It feels insulting. And you know what? This is the moment. This is where most people just throw in the towel and say, forget it. And of course, we have to talk about debt. Look, compounding interest is like having the world's most powerful superhero on your team. Debt is giving that same superhero to the bad guys. It's compounding, but in reverse. It's working against you, 24/7, silently digging your financial grave.
But, and this is a huge but, if you can win that war, if you can beat back impatience and lifestyle inflation and debt, then something magical happens. You reach what we call the tipping point. Now, I gotta be real with you. For years, and I mean years, it feels like absolutely nothing is happening. You're just shoveling money into a dark hole. It's a total grind. Progress is so slow you can barely even see it. But then, the magic starts. See, in year one, your investment returns might buy you a nice dinner out. Cool. By year 5, maybe they're paying your rent for a month. Okay, now we're talking. But then, somewhere around year 8, it happens. You have a month where your capital, your investments, earned more money than you physically saved. That's the crossover point. That is the moment. That's when you go from being just a worker to being an owner. Your money just became your first employee, and it's the best employee you'll ever have.
And man, that feeling. Waking up and realizing your money is working harder than you are, and it never asks for a raise or a day off. That is the payoff for all those years of boring, disciplined sacrifice. The whole game finally starts to work for you instead of against you.
Okay, so you made it. You hit the first 100K. Awesome. But don't pop the champagne just yet. This isn't the finish line. This is the start of a whole new level of the game. And this level has a completely new set of traps waiting to trip you up.
See, the threats change. When you were broke, your biggest threat was poverty. Now that you have some money, the biggest threat is your own psychology.
You gotta watch out for 3 new enemies. First, arrogance. You start thinking you're some kind of genius who can't lose. Dangerous. Second, stupidity. You know, chasing that hot new crypto coin or getting into some leverage scheme. And third, complacency. The temptation to just cash out, buy that flashy car, and kill the goose that's about to lay the golden eggs.
It really comes down to this. Building that first 100,000, that takes raw discipline. But keeping it and growing it, that takes humility, a totally different skill set.
So, at the end of the day, when you boil it all down, the whole plan is this. It's simple, it's brutal, and it's unforgiving. Spend less than you earn. Save and invest the difference. Avoid doing dumb things. And just endure. That's it. No secrets, no hacks. That's the whole game.
So look, the plan itself is simple. You have it now. The information isn't the hard part. The real question, the one you have to ask yourself, is a lot tougher. Is your discipline strong enough to actually see it through?